After this test, you'll know whether your California property is exempt from AB 1482. The Tenant Protection Act of 2019, also known as AB 1482, does have provisions for certain properties to be exempt from the rent cap and the tenant relocation provisions. So we're going to go through this test and we're going to help you figure out whether your property is exempt, and if it is, there's something very important we'll reveal at the end that you have to do in order to keep that exemption. So the very first test is the property 15 years old or older? So if it's built less than 15 years ago, you're exempt, but that's a rolling deadline. So for example, the bill is in place for 10 years. If your property is 10 years old today, in 5 years, your property will be subject to AB 1482. So that's the first major test. Is it 15 years or older? Number 2, is your rental property a house or condo? If it is, it could be exempt, but there's one more important qualification. How is ownership held? So as long as it's not a corporation, an LLC, or a real estate investment trust that owns the house or condo, it will be exempt. So number 3, is it a duplex? If you as the owner live in one of the units and rent out the other, it is exempt from AB 1482. Now if it's a triplex or bigger and it's over 15 years old, it is definitely going to be subject to AB 1482. Number 5, there's one other big qualifier, and that is the tenant must be in possession for 12 months or longer. So if you have a month-to-month tenant who's been there less than a year, or you have a 9-month lease, that tenant is not subject to rent caps or relocation assistance. So I hope you found this test helpful to determine whether your rental unit is exempt or not. But it's important to know that if it is exempt, there's specific language the bill stipulates that must be given to the resident in a new lease or an addendum. So please reach out to us to get that specific language, and we'll also double check whether your unit is exempt.
This is not meant to be tax or legal advice. You're advised to consult with the appropriate professional.